Man, we in that thing, man. We already live, but yeah, man, I had to call you out, man. LeBron James passed Michael Jordan and all that stuff, so I had to put you on audio, man. I had to call you
Okay, now I got to correct you because he didn't pass Michael Jordan. He passed Kareem.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Let's just keep the facts straight. You know what I'm saying?
He had already passed Michael Jordan, so I had to put you on audio for everybody here that I'm gonna call you out. And
Okay.
you showed up to defend yourself, man. So
Look, here's the thing, man. Like, congratulations to LeBron. He did his thing. That's a great accomplishment. That's a great feat. But I don't think it gives him automatic GOAT status. It wasn't a nail in the coffin to crown him the GOAT. It just don't work like that for me. For one, Kareem was at the best number three in the conversation of GOATs. He wasn't beating LeBron and he wasn't beating MJ. You know what I'm saying? He an afterthought when you even think about GOATs. So you go out and break Kareem record, that don't make you the GOAT. That make you better than Kareem.
So let me ask this then. What is it, if anything, LeBron can do to get acknowledged as the GOAT status from all you MJ fans out there?
Oh man. I don't think there's anything he can do. Like, his career, he at the back end of his career now. I think he done missed all his opportunities, you know?
I disagree with that. I mean, he's 38 years old, but still averaging 30 points a game. You know?
And that's awesome. That's noteworthy. But it don't give him, in my opinion, it don't give him GOAT status.
Well,
Greatest,
I mean, yeah.
Let's define greatest of all time. Greatest of all time.
I think it's hard, man. I think it's hard to decide who's the greatest. It's hard. It's hard to compare eras. I mean, the game has changed so much. I mean, when Kareem played, it was a different game. When MJ played, and now, I mean, it's like just the way guys uh defend each other. Like, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from LeBron, but I
It's
mean,
a different game now.
it's a
You're right.
different game. Guys got beat up when every time you go to the basket, you got put on your butt.
Right.
And I mean, who knows how LeBron would respond to physical play. You can't be physical anymore.
But see, to me,
We know
that's
how LeBron responds to physical play. We've seen it. We know exactly how he responds. He quits. He starts shooting fadeaway. Starts shooting broker jumpers. He stopped driving.
if we're talking about quitting, I mean, MJ retired twice on the boys in the prime. So
No, I don't mean quitting as in I ain't finna play basketball no more. I mean quitting in the game, on the play, not playing hard. I'm not gonna drive to the goal no more because they fouling me too hard. I'm not finna go in there and try to get these rebounds because they fouling me too hard. That's LeBron's MO. He flop, he foul, he cry. That's all he do.
See, this is the thing. You just said it was a different era, right? So you can't compare how this era plays to the '90s era.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's gonna be my sticking point is if I was to put LeBron and MJ on the court together, one-on-one, nothing between them but a basketball and a goal, I think Jordan would eat him alive.
Okay, so Jordan is the greatest at one-on-one. Basketball is a team sport, though. So I can't see how somebody that is number one in scoring when he's not a scorer and number 4 on the all-time assist leader can't be somebody in the conversation for GOAT status for people who just love MJ. Don't get me wrong. MJ is the greatest competitor we've ever seen. He set the bar. He revolutionized the game. I'm not taking any of that stuff away from MJ, right? But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so what I'm getting at is when you factor in the longevity, the fact that LeBron went to 8 straight finals and out of those 8, there was only 3 that he was ever favored in. MJ was favored in every single one of the finals that he went in, and MJ had a team that was already pivoting towards this style of basketball. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it was more physical in the 90s, but just because it was more physical doesn't mean it was a better product. That's just what we knew. You see what I'm saying? The game was very much inside out back then. But as far as skill, athletic ability, and if you're talking about from a one-on-one perspective, I think the talent of the players today is way better. Way better. I mean, you got 7-footers in their bag, cross you up, shoot a 30-footer. I mean, that's part of the game. You got to be able to shoot if you play basketball.
So you got people who got skills like that. You know what I'm saying? You got your KDs of the world, your Porzingises, your Luka Doncics of the world, and I respect that. That's cool. But we got to go back to, okay, well, how do you define the greatest of all time? Maybe LeBron is the greatest NBA player of all time, team sport, organization-wise. In the whole history of the league, he's done more than anybody else. I'll give you that. But if you talking about basketball can be a one-on-one game just as much as it is a team game. You ain't never played nobody one-on-one? You ain't never played 15?
Yeah, and last time I saw MJ go one-on-one with Kobe, he got 55 dropped on his head. So he had 42 on him in the first half.
I mean, it can happen to the best of us, but you didn't see MJ stop. You didn't see MJ stop hooping. You didn't see him fading away. And one thing you never saw was anybody just D up MJ and just take him completely out of his game. I've seen people do that to LeBron who had no business doing it to him. JJ Barea, Jason Terry, locking this dude up, and he 8 inches and 200 pounds heavier than him.
See, I see where you're coming from with that, but I look at it very different. The issue with that Miami Heat team is they were just balling on talent. No system, no structure, no anything like that. So just like anybody as a basketball head, if you get a talented team go up against a well-coached team like the Mavericks were that year, they're going to run circles around them. And they're not going to have an answer for it because they didn't have that pivot ready to go. They had no system. They were just playing sheer talent. It's like the Wolverines going up against Duke back in the 90s. So that's going to happen. But everybody wants to hang that on them. True enough, yeah, it was JJ Barea, yeah, it was Jason Terry, but they didn't know what the flow of the offense was then. They didn't even know whose team it was then. They didn't know if it was going to be LeBron's team or D Wade's team.
Wait. LeBron built that team. That was
No, he didn't.
Nobody.
He came to D Wade's team.
Miami
was D Wade's team.
Where they were going to go. It was D Wade's team.
When they decided that was after the first championship and they lost. LeBron, this is your team from here on out. And when they did that, what happened? They changed. They won back to back.
He didn't go to Miami because of D Wade. He went to Miami because of Pat Riley.
Yeah.
He wanted to learn how to become a champion. He wanted to learn how to win championships.
Exactly.
And he thought Pat
would
teach him to do that.
And it did, right? He got to Miami, and then what happened? He went to 8 straight finals in a row.
To me, that's
10 years.
That's still a knock on him. That's still a knock on him.
Why is that a knock?
Whoa.
How many of those finals did he win?
Hey, whoa. Time out.
He been to the most finals, but he lost the most finals too.
Time out.
Now, if you want to talk about finals records, we know what MJ did in the finals.
We want to talk about finals records. Robert Horry is 7-0. Bill Russell got 11. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
they not in this conversation. But they not in this conversation. We
Bill Russell's not in a GOAT conversation.
LeBron and MJ. We talking about LeBron and MJ. That's who we talking about.
That's the pivot.
Okay.
That's me denying the pivot.
No.
We talking about MJ and LeBron.
So what happened the other 12, 13 years that Michael Jordan didn't go to the finals? He lost, right?
He did. His first 4-5 years in the league.
And in 95.
7 years in
when he came back.
When he came back in 95.
Lost to Orlando.
And the Wizards, when he left, came back. He still didn't make the finals. So he didn't even make it to the finals.
He didn't make it to the playoffs.
He didn't make it to the playoffs. It's the same thing. I think the Lakers are going to make the playoffs this year. But
see, you thinking though, you don't know that.
well, that remains to be seen. That's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is on one hand, it's like you're counting only the 6 years Michael went to the finals, and you're saying it's a bad thing that LeBron made it to the finals and lost. It doesn't work that way. Not in debate, not in objective debate.
That's fair. That's a fair point. I'll give you that. But it's not just the finals that MJ made it to or the finals that LeBron made it to. It's how they performed in those finals.
Now, I can give you that. I can understand that.
When Michael Jordan was at his peak, at the top of his game, and he did it twice, he was the best player on the court in the country, and it was no denying it. Like, nobody could line up across from him and stop him. Nobody was going to deny him the championship. And he proved it time after time after time. He quit basketball because he got bored. You only get bored when something's too easy.
He actually quit basketball because he was physically and mentally drained. Those were his words. This is not an ESPN soundbite. Those were his words. It was too much. He lost his father, and just the wear and tear in the media. And the media was starting to, quite frankly, piss him off. That's why he really retired. All right. Oh. So let's go to this. And I see your point. When Mike got to the finals, there was no peer. Well, the same can be said about LeBron James. He was the best player. Look at the teams he lost to. He lost against superior teams. Golden State, for crying out loud, had to go get a whole nother MVP just to stop that dude from being a reign of terror on him. That's like Karl Malone.
You don't think?
Hold on. Hear me out.
You don't think they were putting together teams going out doing what they could do to stop Jordan?
Not at this rate. Not compared to what they had 2 MVPs. That's like Karl Malone teaming up with Charles Barkley and Reggie Miller to stop Michael Jordan. They just simply didn't have it.
That go your different eras right there, because you just really wasn't finna have that. Like, people had their teams, they was a superstar on their teams, and they wasn't finna go join forces with nobody else.
That's true. That's true.
That back then, that's a LeBron era type of thing. He brought that into the league.
No, he actually didn't bring it into the league. Actually, it was Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Rajon Rondo who brought it into the league. LeBron just won up to me, and Kevin Durant won up 10.
True. The Celtics brought it into the league. You're right.
Yeah. But you can't even say that, because the Lakers have been doing that forever. You know what I'm saying? All them Showtime Laker teams that they built.
Well, they drafted Magic.
They did draft it, but they did go get Kareem, right?
They went and got Kareem.
So teams go get who they want to go get, and they did the same thing in that era. The problem between this era and that era is that the players don't have the flexibility to demand out like they do now back then. That's just a business structure hierarchy type thing. You know what I mean? And if you want to put the onus on somebody, it's Jordan that started that ball moving that way. You know what I mean? As far as taking that 1 year, $50 million deal, that 1 year, $35 million deal that he took with Chicago when he was on them 2 back-to-back year, just 1 year contracts. That showed basketball players what they could get paid.
Right. And he wasn't wrong for doing that, because they owed him that. Like,
absolutely not.
He was the best player on the planet. They were supposed to be paying him.
He was owed a lot of money.
I also think the mentality of today's players is different from 80s and 90s. Like, when KD joined the Warriors, I mean, could you imagine if MJ had joined the Pistons because he couldn't beat them? He would have jumped on their team. I just think, like I said, I just think the mentality of today's players is different. You know what I'm saying?
Again, this is still something that carried over from the 90s. When they started wanting to play with each other, when they started playing in the Olympics, and people started saying, okay, we can play together. Our stars can come together and play. They don't have to always go against each other. So it started with the Dream Team. You see what I'm saying? So that you can't get mad at the evolution of the game and then turn back around and be an historian of it. It's like you're going to have some give and take in it at some point, in my opinion.
That's where I go back to, how are we defining the greatest player of all time? Because I still feel like Michael Jordan in his prime, will wipe the floor with LeBron in his prime, just because of LeBron's the way he plays. Just he don't respond to physical in your face defense like that. He not gonna step up and just.
And he's not a killer. Like he's not the. He's his mentality is different from MJ's, and I think that's why he's a pass first.
He's a pass first player, and for
He's
the record,
a high IQ basketball player.
And for the record, I need somebody to explain to me what this killer mentality is.
Give me the ball and I'm going to destroy whoever in front of me. They can't stop me from getting to the rack. You're not better than me. I'm better than you. That's killer mentality.
Okay, even if it means scoring 63 points in the first round sweep, that's killer mentality.
Still killer mentality.
Okay, LeBron did the same.
We got swept, but I scored 50 every night. Yeah.
Okay, LeBron put 51 up in game one of the NBA Finals. I think he averaged like 40 points, like 13 rebounds, and like 10 assists against Golden State when they had KD, Steph, Draymond, and Clay all pre-injury, and he still lost. But he gets it's a choke job. It's a bum job. But hold on, hear me out. When it comes to Kobe and Michael, it's this some mentality like they went out without a fight when they shot 14 for 42. I don't understand that. I don't understand that double narrative.
Because I'm taking it out of the team sport aspect, and I'm lining up the man against the man. Is it 4:00?
It's 4:00.
Man, I gotta go. Y'all be thinking it's a game, boy. Your boy be really on the move, man. For real. Hey, man, no. I just said my piece. I just said my piece. I gotta go pick up my daughter from work, man. Y'all be easy.
Oh man.
Man, what was that, man? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. My apologies, man. We done made this man late for picking up his daughter from work. We done got the argument by Kobe and LeBron. His daughter is at work. My apologies, big Kobe. Ooh, you can't script that, man. You can't script that, man.
That's what that live is about, boy.
That's what that live is about, man. What up, Jay? What up, Jay? We see Jay Miles tapping in with the commentary. He said Kobe won back-to-back with no All-Stars. That's killer mentality. I respect that point. I dig that. All the way true. I think there's no disrespect to Kobe nor MJ. I just think we put this out here as an example. You have a 99 and you have a 98 for 10 or 15 years. That 97 over a 20-year span is going to trump that 98 or 99 over a 10-year span just because of the consistency. And I don't think people understand, and I've been saying this for quite some time. I know a lot of people picking up on this narrative. I've heard it today. LeBron is going to score 40,000 points. He's going to end up with 10,000 rebounds and 10,000 assists. If not close to 10,000 assists. That's work. And the trophies and all that stuff, that's good. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest competitor we've seen. I think he's probably the best winner we've seen in the history of American sports. But when LeBron came out of college, or high school, excuse me, the first thing I noticed about him was his vision. For him to end up in the top 5 or 10 in almost every major statistical category there is in the analogs of NBA history as a point power forward, it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. And ain't nobody disrespecting Kobe and Mike. We know what Mike was. We love Mike. I mean, Mike got our eyes on TV. I mean, remember the NBA on NBC? They gave you that 12 o'clock Hornets-Knicks game, and then about 3:30, you was going to that America. You was going to Chicago. You was going to Chicago. Yeah. That was it. You knew what that was. They was going to give you that prime time, and Marv Albert was going to be on there, and that's what that was. And
Mike was so prime time. They syndicated WGN.
Yeah,
so you can watch every single Chicago game.
every single Bulls game. So I'm not gonna act like I'm not a Jordan fan and like I don't know what Jordan means to the game of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that I think at the end of the day the numbers don't show. And just player for player, that at the end of the day, LeBron James is gonna be written all over the NBA record books. And I think we saw the passing of the guard. And you can hold on to Michael and what he meant to us as teenagers and all that stuff, and who we used to go emulate at the park. But I promise you, when we about to retire in the next 20 years, and we just open that book up, it's gonna hit some of you that LeBron really, really, really put in work. But we lost Big Kofi on that segment. I was really finna give it to him and get into it about the Kyrie Irving situation. But he had to
I was waiting. I couldn't wait to
I'm
get
gonna have to clip that. I'm gonna have to clip that, and we're gonna have to get Big Kofi back on because I do want to talk about Kyrie Irving. I do want to talk about the Mavericks, and I do want to talk about the NBA trade deadline. Man, it's going down, man.
It's serious business, man. That's probably one of the most active trade deadlines I can recall ever in the history of the NBA. I think they said it was something like 54 players were on the move. You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. So, and I think all the teams that made trades for the most part got better. You know, I think Dallas got better by picking up Kyrie. I think the Lakers got better because they answered their issues as far as from a shooting standpoint. They got more length, got more athletic on the wings. You know what Phoenix did? On paper, they look great. I'm a little concerned about them, all three of their main stars being injury prone, but you know, you can't say that they're not a contender from, at least on paper. They should be something. You know what I mean? So, and then I like the move Milwaukee made with picking up Jay Crowder. So it's going to be a hell of a second half after the All-Star break going into the playoffs. I think it's going to be serious business, man.
Yeah, man. I'll say this in regards to the Mavs and them bringing in Kyrie. I mean, right now, I mean he's played 2 games and he scored. First game 24 points. The against the Clippers, and then the second game against the Kings 25 points. I mean, what we're seeing is not a surprise. I mean, he's locked in and he's engaged. I think what most fans are wondering, how long is this going to last? I mean, and how's it going to look when Luka's on the court with him? Will they be able to play together? And what happens if they start losing? How's Kyrie going to react? He has a track record of alienating his teammates and what I'm saying, doing whatever he wants to do and being a headache. So I'm waiting to see what's going to happen later down the line.
Later down the line. What up, Cedric Jones? Cedric Jones chimed in. He said Kobe did that. He wasn't a fan, but he did his thing. Jay Miles, what's up, brother? We're going to have to have you back on pretty soon, man. Missed you all college football season. Not next year, though. He said that Dallas got better offensively, but they'll have to give up a lot to Kyrie and Luka play no defense. But that's yet to be seen. We're going to see if that can get exposed. I do like the move, personally. I'm going to have to piggyback off Boogie, though. And I said this to Big Kofi this morning as I was inviting him to the show. So Kyrie goes to Boston. I think like first 7, 8, 9, 10 ball games, he out there busting boys with 31, 32, 35. Like, damn, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. And then he goes to Brooklyn. He's kind of waiting on KD to get healthy, and James Harden comes, and for most parts, first 8 to 10 ball games, Kyrie Irving, he out there busting boys' head in. He gonna give you that 30 or 35. And then all of a sudden the wheels fall off in both places. Now we do know that Boston is extremely racist, no surprise there. And maybe the Nets did show that they was a little bit racist. Maybe in Dallas, Mark Cuban like, look, I don't care nothing about none of that. Just go ball. We don't know. But what I do know is if Kyrie ain't happy, and the things that we don't see behind the scenes don't go well, they gonna give up. He gonna be on his way up out of there, and we're gonna see if the Mavericks made the right decision or not. So I'm all on board with that move, and they got a puncher's chance right now. But we're gonna see if this is a long-term solution or if this is just Kyrie getting to it and showing what he can be and showing that he still got it, so he can move on to where he really desires to be and max them dollars up.
And see, that's what I think is the beauty about the situation, because it's both a win-win. You know what I mean? Kyrie is coming off of the debacle in Brooklyn, so he's got to prove himself again. The difference between the Boston scenario and the Brooklyn scenario is when Kyrie went to those teams, they were expecting for Kyrie to be the leader of those teams. Right now, he has no pressure in Dallas. It's Luka's team. He's just got to go out there and play ball. So I think it's a win-win scenario for Dallas and getting what they needed from an offensive standpoint, somebody that can take the pressure off of Luka. But at the same time, it's a win-win for Kyrie because he's like, look, I got this 30 games to kind of right all of the disrespect that's been coming to my name. Rightfully so in some scenarios, but I think he can just focus on playing ball and hooping. You know what I mean? Just get out there and do his thing. So I think it's the ideal scenario for him. I'm still not sold that he'll sign there long-term, but that's where it's also a win-win, is because they're committing to each other as like, they're dating right now. We're going to see how this works out for us, you know, and then if it works out for us, we can decide if we want to continue this relationship going forward. If not, you know, Dallas really didn't give up a whole lot because they're going to have cap space when it comes to the summertime to land somebody else to play with Luka. And then Kyrie can make his move to whatever team that he wants to go to on the West Coast, if that's what it is. So I think it's a win-win scenario. But yeah, defensively, they gave up a lot, but they can definitely score with the best of them in the league now.
Agree. I got a birthday shout out. Happy birthday, Eve Doc from Phoenix. It's a celebration. 212 tomorrow, so I'm getting it in. A little show with the fellas, a little run with the fellas. We didn't get a chance to talk much about NBA free agency because Wednesday night we had a real good show. If y'all missed it, slide on over to that YouTube channel, or you can slide over to the Facebook page where we get the Phoenix Suns. Then woke up Thursday morning and Kevin Durant was in Phoenix.
Yeah.
So does that change?
And then Wednesday night, Russell Westbrook got shipped out of LA.
And Wednesday night, Russell Westbrook got shipped out.
Yeah.
So does that change your mind about the Denver Nuggets? Yeah, I already know all season. I haven't been sold on Denver, but I gotta say, Phoenix, the Suns,
The West just got more interesting. I mean, KD teaming up with one of the best scorers in Devin Booker. I mean, I know CP3 is getting up there in age, but he can still, make an impact. Leading his team. DeAndre Ayton is still a guy that what I'm saying, I feel like he still has a lot to prove, but he's improved each year. I hate that they had to get rid of Mikal Bridges because he's a guy that can defend and more like a 3-and-D guy. I think they gave up a lot, but I mean, KD is KD. So I think that the Suns are hoping that he can make up for the lack of depth on their team. I guess it's gonna be fun to watch. So
yeah, they're definitely going to be exciting, man. I mean, when you put two high-power scorers like KD and Devin Booker together, I mean, you're going to have some instant offense, and they're going to be good defensively too on that first unit. I just feel like they gave up a little too much off the bench, so I know they're going to be active in that buyout market, trying to fill out the back half of that roster. Because once they get past that 6th, 7th man, especially which they're going to need for this next 30 games with KD coming off injury, Booker just coming back from injury, Chris Paul being injury prone. I think all of those things are the keys to watch, and that will be what would derail Phoenix more so than their ability to play ball. It's just their availability, So But yeah, it's gonna be a good look. But I still sticking with Denver right now. But I like what Phoenix has done. I like what LA's done. See what the Clippers do in the buyout market. They don't have a point guard right now, but they've been playing some decent ball here of late. Mavs have been doing some good things so far. I'm waiting to see that Luka and Kyrie unit on the court together as well. So I need about another 2-3 weeks before I can really give a good assessment of where I think things are headed. But right now, I'm still going to stick with Denver.
I have no
To
idea.
lead the West.
I have no idea what's going on with the Clippers. I don't know what they're doing. Like, do they? I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. Why they get rid of John Wall? Like, why they send him back to Houston?
I
Why
think
did
that
they
Wall
let
wasn't
that
playing.
work out? Huh? Say again?
wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Wall wasn't playing. John Wall is toast.
I
Yeah.
think so. I
John
mean,
Wall. John Wall is toast and still 30, 33, 35, $40 million on the book?
no, because remember he took that buyout, so I want to say they got him for like maybe 2 years, 16 million, or 2 year, 18 million, something like that.
So
So he's not as expensive as he was before his first go round in Houston. So that's probably why they took him back.
okay, so he's toast. I don't think he's ever going to touch the floor as a Houston Rocket, but John Wall is probably best suited as coming off the bench at this point in his career. Like,
Yeah.
and, sad. It's kind of sad to see him and Westbrook be what that is, but I kind of had that feeling about Westbrook. I was like, well, when his athletic ability is gone, he's going to be phased out of the league because it seemed like at one point he had gotten decent at the mid range. Remember, he would pull up and shoot that little banker in Oklahoma City, and then all of a sudden it seems like he just stopped shooting.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he'll be done by the time his explosiveness leaves or whatnot. Mom said, happy birthday to me. Thanks, Mom. J Miles back again. He said Phoenix is going to hurt at the wing defender spot. Well, I can see where he's coming from, considering that they don't play much defense in the NBA no more. Just back off of them and let them shoot the three and let Aiden get the rebound. It's not like, the Michael Jordans or the Kobe's, or just some of the slashers like the Clydes and the Knicks. It's like they're not going to the rim. They're not attacking the rim, so
That's true.
at some point they're going to shoot a bunch of wild 3-pointers and they'll let you right back in the game, which was so frustrating for me I think the year after LeBron won the bubble. I remember we was talking about like, y'all don't get fooled by being two new teams in the finals. This is just bad basketball. The lane was wide open for Giannis from game one. Why it took him 5.5 games or 4.5 games or whatever to figure it out?
Mm-hmm.
It's beyond me. But I see what you're saying, Jay, but I don't see what you're saying. Because at some point, Denver or whoever they play, they just going to shoot a bunch of threes. It's just the way basketball goes now. Dre Lindell gave us a share in the Sports Kickback. That's a sports group. So we appreciate all the love. Kansas City Chiefs fan. That's my boy, my partner, Dre Lindell. I know he souped up and amped up about them Kansas City Chiefs and their big game tomorrow. But yeah, Phoenix. What's my thoughts on Phoenix? He's a competent point guard now. So when Chris Paul go out there and he pull his hamstring in round one, y'all don't panic. Don't get the trick. And all they need is a competent point guard. As long as Book and KD healthy and they got Aiden down there that kind of play a little bit traditional big man, more of a lob kind of guy, but he'll block some shots. He'll get big down there for you when necessary. All you need is somebody that can come in there and make sure KD in the right spot and make sure Book in the right spot, and they'll be okay. But now, in all seriousness, I hope CP3, I don't want to see him get hurt. That was just a jest. And it looks like it's going to come. With me not being sold on Denver, I'm going to say it looks like Phoenix and Dallas could be headed for a Western Conference final showdown. I still wouldn't sleep on the Lakers.
I was about to say, do not sleep on the Lakers, man.
Something just makes me feel like, I've been watching basketball long enough, and I know I say it all the time that you've never seen a true underdog just wreck shop all the way to the finals because at some point they're going to get exposed. But I look at the West, and okay, we got KD and Phoenix, and then we see if the Lakers are truly healthy, are Would I be surprised if they beat Denver? No. Would I be surprised if they caught Dallas in the second round? No. Would I be surprised if they beat Zion and the Pelicans? No. Would I be surprised if Memphis went out there acting immature and knuckleheaded and no. So the Lakers could very well find themselves in the Western Conference Finals just because you got LeBron. And if AD can stay healthy with some of the young players and the defensive and the shooting that they got, they can make a run. We're going to see where they go.
I agree, man. I mean, they're my sleeper team right now. I love every bit about the moves that they made. The only thing that I wish they would have been able to do was retain Thomas Bryant, but they said he had asked for that trade because he wasn't getting playing time since AD came back. But I think if he would have stayed on the roster, I thought he was the big that really helped them over the hump once they had all those other additions to it. But I like the Russell pickup. I like Beasley. I like Rui. Mo Bamba. I got to see what he brings to the table, but that's somebody that can block shots, shoot the three, so he fits in a space and pace, or he can get down there and bang a little bit. And when you talk about banging, it's not banging like it's the traditional 90s banging anymore. You just got to get down there and mix it up. So I think they retooled all of their reserves, got starter minutes the first half of the season, so that bench is going to be that much more ready, prepared to play in the game if they got to come in. So I think they're deep. I think they improved their shooting. They improved their length. And I think they're going to give anybody a run for the money when you got the GOAT out there. You know what I'm saying? LeBron going to do his thing.
Right. It is what it is. I know you don't want to hear that, Juice. You Michael Jordan fan and all that, but
hey man.
You might LeBron he's gonna be the GOAT, man. When it's all said and done,
it's all good. Hey, I'm saying I've like I said the other day, I've had to do a lot of reflecting since LeBron broke he's all-time leading scorer, and just thinking about everything that he's done. I mean, I can't. I stand corrected, man. I gotta reconsider it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, you gotta at least think about it. And I'm a basketball purist. I just love the game of basketball. Right. Again, like I said, I know what Michael did, but 2012 to like 2015, 16, LeBron's the best basketball we've ever seen. Like, I didn't get to see Wilt. You see what I'm saying? I saw older Kareem.
Exactly.
I can't tell you what Bill Russell did. I can barely tell you what Dr. J did. But from about 85 till about now, I can tell you did what I can follow the game. From like 2012 to like 2016, Michael Jeffrey Jordan wants no part of that particular version of LeBron James. I don't care how many tennis shoes he sells.
At all.
I don't care how many championship documentaries he dropped. Say, bro.
Right.
LeBron, this dude is just different, man. It's just different.
Yep.
It is what it is, but that's enough for that, man. I wish we had Big Kofi on here, man, so we could get more into the Mavericks. But at any rate, it's Black History Month. It's Black History Month, and apologies on the time. I was trying to put together this really nice slideshow, like video type thing to, the Jackie Robinsons, the Wilma Rudolphs, Arthur Ashe, just try to pull everything together for Black History. We're more than sports, of course, but this is a sports show. And I'm just going to give it to you transparent. If you want to get philosophical and deep, you might want to have to tune in to King Dre in his segment, What the Hell is Going On? Because this ain't it. We sit up here talking hardcore sports, and we do, Black athletes. It is what it is. We're not discrediting our Caucasians and, any other race. We're not discrediting them, but we know what it is without me saying what it is. Where could we go with this thing? You can go anywhere with it, honestly. So many, I guess, trailblazing moments with causes athletes have used their platform to speak out on injustices and racism and things like that. And I bring this up about Kareem all the time. You hear people talk about Kareem, it's like Kareem's an afterthought. Well, it's the reason why Kareem was an afterthought. He basically went toe-to-toe with the supremacists and the Klan and stuff like that. He had Bill Russell's back, as you can see him there. That's a young Kareem. And he's standing with older grown men. That's a Kareem at what, 21, 22? World why people don't love him, why people don't remember him. So he held the record for 40 years, didn't love and adore him. Well, because he didn't smile like Dr. J. And you know, he wasn't all over the social media, and he didn't catch lightning in a bottle like Michael did right when the internet popped off. He was in the middle of his reign. He was just Kareem. This is what I stand for. This is who I am. And yeah, there are injustices, and I don't mind speaking out about them. And it cost him. And we know what Bill Russell, again, what we went through. We know what Muhammad Ali went through. So it's just a time for us to celebrate as African American. And those are just some of the athletes that come to my mind, just like right off the top. I'm sure there's more. The more I think about it, it'll come to me later on. But it is Black History Month at any rate from the Just Knowing Sports Show. Wishing you all a glorious and fabulous day and month.
Most definitely.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, it's crazy to think how much things have changed and how much they've stayed the same. You know, and I think taking that time to reflect on what sports has contributed. There's two things that I really feel like have contributed to the diversification of the U.S. sports and music and entertainment. I think that helped kind of break down some of the barriers that stood in the way of, you know, during segregation and things of that nature. So giving us this month to actually shed light on those people who were the victors during that time frame from a sports standpoint is definitely a very noble approach, Doc. So I appreciate you doing that, man. That means a lot right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whenever, I mean, we all wanted to be athletes, you know what I'm saying? That's why we love sports so much. And I just think about, you know, what these athletes, I mean, we look at them as heroes, um, for what they do in their specific sports. But they need to be commended for what they do off the competitive field. And um, I just see uh, guys like, you know, Jordan or LeBron or whoever. Um, I see them as, you know, somebody to model my life after. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, and they're good examples to follow. And so, and I just think about the sacrifices that all those athletes made. Um, and it just makes me want to be a better all around person, even though I'm, you know, not in sports. Um, but that's just what I think whenever I watch, you know, a highlight reel of particular athletes. So, um, yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, man. I mean, the parallel in life to sports is something that I don't think people talk about enough, and it's something that I'm thankful for, like Kobe Bryant, because he actually helped shed the light on that. I mean, the same competitive energy that he put into being on the court and going at his opponents is the same
Hmm.
competitive energy you can take into life. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
and that helps you get
Hmm.
over those humps of all of those struggles and trials and tribulations that you go through in life. You keep that same Mamba mentality and approach
Hmm.
to what you got going on in life. You know, that's how you change lives. You know, and that's one of the things
Hmm.
that, you know, somebody like a Kobe Bryant brought to the forefront. And, you know, MJ as well, LeBron as well, you know, all of these top tier athletes. I'm glad to see that they do have a platform, even though sometimes people are trying to tell them to just shut up and dribble. But
Hmm.
there's so much that they have to offer, just from a life perspective, that I think people can learn and grow from, that people who are not sports enthusiasts can't really appreciate. You know, everybody has
Right.
that challenge in life that they're trying to get over, or have gone through, and were victorious against those challenges. And I think that's something
Hmm.
that the parallel of sports allows you to kind of reflect on. So that's why I appreciate, you know, like I was saying, Doc, you taking time to even just bring that into this month and highlight that,
Hmm.
because it's something that we all need to be a little bit more cognizant of, especially when we're going through those days that we don't feel it. We can't get out there and you know, hit the pavement and get our grind on like we need to be the successes that we can be in our own right. We can channel what they do into our livelihoods and get the best out of ourselves as well. So it's a unique parallel, man. I think we don't speak on it enough. So I'm glad that you did bring that to the forefront today on the show.
Oh yeah, no problem. I think a lot of times, when I first jumped into this thing, I was like, nah, I don't want to talk about nothing political. This is just going to be straight sports. We don't talk about no socials. They can turn in things that's going on, in the social climate and all that stuff. They can turn to whatever. We ain't doing it. We keeping it straight sports. But I guess the more and more you dig into it, and the more and more you develop your craft at this, because it's not easy. Regardless of how it seems, this is not easy trying to put together something. A lot of times we just put this thing together on the fly. So appreciate the boys jumping in with me. But what you find out is like you can't really avoid it. Like it's peanut butter and jelly. It is peanut butter and jelly. Like we see with the Kyrie situation, we saw with the Kaepernick situation, and then the more and more I begin to just think about it, it really would be a disservice to the brothers and sisters that Jesse Owens, he went over there and stood in front of Hitler. You see what I'm saying? Jack Johnson, he was down there and way down there in South Texas, like 30 years, maybe 35 years after the Civil War was over with. So I couldn't even fathom the things that he was dealing with, and he married a white lady. So you know what I mean? He was having his pick of the white lady. So there's no telling, what he had to endure. And then we got the Chicano brothers and sisters, the Latin American brothers and sisters, the baseball players that came in after Jackie Robinson, some before Jackie Robinson, disguised as white men. You see, just there's so many stories, and I feel like I did service today. I didn't really get a chance to dig into the archives like I wanted to. There's so many athletes that I wanted to discuss. But I mean, charge it to my head and not my heart. I mean, it's a serious topic, especially when it comes to African Americans in sports. And like Big E was saying, man, you can't really separate the two. And at times when you don't feel like giving it that extra whatnot, well, we ourselves encounter racism, because let's not hide the elephant in the room. It's still going down. It's not as blatant and open, but it's still out there. So, with us all being sports, it's a connection that we have with these athletes and us all playing sports. And me and Big E, just like I remember me and Big E sitting in some history class, and we talking about we like 14, 15 years old, like who's our college basketball team, and it's just a connection that we had, and to see it here now. And to see that we changed from boys to men, and we have the cognizance and the posture and the wherewithal to see this is where we've grown, and this is what we've seen when it comes to our people and our struggle. And we can bring that same thing we was talking about at the lunch table and bring it here on a bigger platform. It's good things and it's good feelings. So it was nothing. I figured, hey, let's do it. Let's make it pop.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
Straight like that. But at any rate, didn't want to hold y'all too long. Like I said, just want to jump on real quick. Talk a little hoorah. We got the Super Bowl tomorrow. Got my birthday tomorrow. We just jumped on here today. It's my little pre-celebration or whatnot. And well, you know it. I mean, I'm gonna peep out this USFL, man. Like last year, they really didn't have a bad product. I'm telling y'all now, that was not bad football. If we're just patient with it as a culture, and maybe 3 to 5 years, we're gonna have football all season round. We just have to be patient with it. And what we're really waiting on, as red-blooded Americans who love football, we're waiting for that one college football player that says, you know what, I'm not going to the NFL. I'm going to the UFC. Because if you know anything about history, It always repeats itself. So we're looking for that Reggie White, that Steve Young, or that Herschel Walker say, I'm not going for the NFL money. I'm going for the USFL money. Now the NFL from the players, now the NFL is like, well, hold on. Now you taking all our players. Let's see what's really going on. So give it about 5 years. I'm ready to see what's going on with that. We got March Madness. We didn't even touch college basketball this season. I'm thinking next Wednesday's show, we got to show college basketball some love. I haven't really been watching, I must admit, the way I should be, but I ain't off in college basketball. It ain't going to take me long to figure out what's going on. And like I said, hey, bro, we'll be looking at the conference tournaments in basketball?
Yeah, about another week or two, huh?
Hey, Doc. Yeah. Hey, Doc, I've already got notes ready for college basketball. So
hey, man, like they'll be having the Big 12 tournament probably in 2 weeks, and before you know it, we'll be filling out our brackets, and it'll be one shining moment, and then we'll see the Major League Baseball coming around, and then we got the NBA finals. So sports don't stop. We ain't gonna stop. So
I already know it.
That's just what that is. We're gonna keep this thing coming, and we're gonna keep bringing it like I said, that's every Friday night, the audio, and usually on Wednesday nights, we try to go and jump on this thing and go live. And then sometimes you just never know. We might jump in on a Saturday or something like that. Make it do what it do. But at any rate, it has been a blast. So we're going to go and get up out of here, though. And I appreciate Big E and the Deuce Man, Big Kofi, even though he had to slide out. For jumping on this thing with me, this is the Just Know It Sports Show every Friday night, 8 p.m. Anchor FM, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. Y'all enjoy the Super Bowl.